Last week, former Major League Baseball pitcher Tim Wakefield passed away at the age of 57. If you don't know who Wakefield was, he's one of the most accomplished pitchers in MLB history. He played in 19 seasons from 1992 to 2011, spending 2 seasons with the Pittsburgh Pirates and 17 with the Boston Red Sox. A starting pitcher who threw a knuckleball, he's undoubtedly one of the greatest knuckleball pitchers ever. He's one of 122 pitchers ever to win at least 200 ball games, holding a lifetime record of 200 and 180. During his career, he threw over 3,200 innings across over 450 starts and over 600 games total. He recorded an ERA of 4.41, adjusted ERA of 105, a WHIP of 1.350, and earned 34.4 WAR. As a member of the Red Sox, he helped guide the team to 2 World Series wins in 2004 and 2007 and is forever one of the greatest pitchers ever to play for Boston. Not bad for a journeyman who made his Major League debut only 2 days prior to his 26th birthday. Speaking of which, Tim Wakefield's rookie season is one of the most underappreciated seasons by a rookie in the history of Major League Baseball for many reasons, and yet it's incredible how he made it to the majors in the first place. Coincidentally, Wakefield was drafted 200th overall by the Pittsburgh Pirates in the 1988 MLB draft. He wasn't drafted as a pitcher, however, he was drafted as a first baseman. In his first season in the lowest level of minor league ball, Wakefield hit at an average of 189 with an OPS of 636. In the following year, his batting average improved to 217, but his OPS dropped 50 points. At 22 years old, Wakefield couldn't hit well and was destined to be released, ending any potential career as a baseball player. That's when his manager at the time, Woody Hike, noticed him throwing a knuckleball one day and convinced him and the organization to let Wakefield pitch with it. Wakefield learned how to throw a knuckleball from his father as a kid and was more or less simply fooling around with it when Hike took notice. With the newly attained position, Wakefield rose through the minor leagues, posting an ERA of 2.90 in AA in 1991 and an ERA of 3.06 in AAA the following year. After a strong start to the minor league season in 1992, the Pirates called him up to the big leagues on July 31st of that year. Wakefield rejuvenated his career, doomed to be cut by the Pirates, to being in the major leagues, all thanks to Woody Hike and his splendid signature pitch. Before continuing with Wakefield, you must know how the Pirates were performing that year up until this point. After 2 National League Championship Series appearances in 1990 and 1991, Pittsburgh was slipping in 1992. After a strong 23-10 start to the season, the Pirates proceeded to go 31-38 over their next 69 games, bringing their record to 54-48 entering July 31st. On that date, they were tied for first place with the Montreal Expos, and 2 teams, the Chicago Cubs and New York Mets, were both only 4.5 games out of first place. Something to note, both Pittsburgh's best hitter and pitcher, Barry Bonds and Doug Drabek, were on the final years of their contracts. With it seemingly likely the 2 would not return in 1993, this was the final year of the Pirates' playoff window. They had squandered opportunities the previous 2 seasons and had just one more shot at making the World Series with their core still on the team. Although, with the previously mentioned record and competition from the Montreal Expos, that chance to win the pennant was getting more unlikely each day. That's when Wakefield got the call. In the midst of a tight race during the 1992 season, did Pittsburgh call up their journeyman pitcher, who didn't even start pitching professionally until he was almost 23 years old. Facing the St. Louis Cardinals, how did Wakefield perform in his debut? All he did was throw a complete game victory, striking out 10 batters. He allowed 6 hits, 2 unearned runs, and threw 146 pitches in what has to be the final time a pitcher ever throws that many in his debut. What happened after that complete game victory? Wakefield followed up with another win, pitching 8 innings, striking out 7, and allowing 2 runs against the New York Mets. He threw 8 innings of 1-run ball in his 3rd start, and followed that up with another complete game victory in his 4th career start. Overall in 1992, Wakefield started 13 games and threw 92 innings. He went 8-1 with an ERA of 2.15, adjusted ERA of 162, a WHIP of 1.207, and earned 2.4 WAR. Despite not making his season debut until the very last day in July, Wakefield would place 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting, even earning 2 first-place votes, and you want to know something? I think he should have won the award. Many of you may be thinking it's absurd for a starter with that few amount of innings pitched to win the award, but consider this. Wakefield wasn't just incredible, he helped turn around the Pirates' season. Pittsburgh was in freefall, losing traction in the National League Eastern Division. I mentioned earlier how the team entering July 31st was 31-38 after starting the season 23-10. Well, in that same time frame, the Montreal Expos went 40-31. They were playing very well, and it seemed like they would pass the Pirates and take over the division for good. Wakefield helped right the ship, and his Major League debut came at the beginning of a season-high 11-game win streak for Pittsburgh. That's right. His first career game was the second win in that streak, and after the Pirates won 11 in a row, they went from tied for first place to 3.5 games ahead of Montreal. Wakefield pitched in 3 games during that streak, throwing 25 innings and allowing only 3 earned runs for an ERA of 1.08. The team won all 3 of those games, and who knows how many they would have won if a different pitcher was on the mound. Speaking of which, in Wakefield's 13 games, the Pirates went 9-4. With somebody else pitching, who knows what their record would have been. Coincidentally, the Pirates would finish the division in first place by 9 games, ending the season with a 96-66 record. For those keeping track, that's a 42-18 record Pittsburgh had once Wakefield was called up to the big leagues, the best in all of Major League Baseball. Naturally, Wakefield is not the only reason why the Pirates propelled themselves into the best team down the stretch. However, it's still without a doubt Wakefield left an impactful mark on the team and was a catalyst to the Pirates' success that season. It's partly that reason why Wakefield absolutely should have won the Rookie of the Year award despite a lack of playing time. The player that did end up winning the award in the National League was Los Angeles Dodgers first baseman Eric Karros. He had a decent season, hitting at a 730 OPS, 106 adjusted OPS, and earning 0.4 WAR. He did hit 20 home runs and was the only rookie hitter in the National League to have a qualified season. Seriously, only 3 rookies in the National League had so many as 400 play appearances, so by default, as being the only rookie to get consistent playing time, that presumably contributed largely to him winning the award. For those who disagree with me that Wakefield should not have won the award, I totally understand it. However, for those who say he didn't have an impact on the Pirates season in 1992, might I explain to you his playoff performance. In the best-of-7 National League Championship Series against the Atlanta Braves, the Pirates dropped the first 2 games on the road to go down 2-0. In Game 3, Wakefield took the mound against future Hall of Famer Tom Glavine. That season, Glavine came in second in Cy Young voting and had won the award the previous season. Obviously, one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball at the time of this game. So, tasked with facing one of the greatest of all time, Wakefield outdueled the lefty, throwing yet another complete game. He allowed 2 runs on 5 hits while striking out 3 batters. An absolutely brilliant performance that gave life back to Pittsburgh. After the Pirates split the next 2 games, they headed back to Atlanta for Game 6, 1 loss away from elimination. If they couldn't win the next 2 games on the road, that's 3 consecutive seasons the team fell just short of a World Series appearance. With Tom Glavine back on the mound for Game 6, Pirates manager Jim Leyland opted to start Wakefield on short rest. In the biggest game of the season, perhaps the biggest game for the Pirates in over a decade, and just 2.5 months removed from his Major League debut, Wakefield tossed another complete game. In 9 innings, he allowed 4 earned runs, struck out 4, and threw an incredible 141 pitches. Those 4 earned runs might be deceptive, as 2 of them came in the 9th inning with Pittsburgh winning 13-2. Essentially, garbage time runs. It was just the 8th time a rookie pitcher ever threw at least 2 postseason complete games in the American League National League history, and nobody has done it since Wakefield. Perhaps had the Pirates won the series, Wakefield would have taken home the National League Championship Series MVP award. At least one writer thought he could. Following the Game 7 loss, Wakefield wouldn't find any more success in Pittsburgh. He struggled minorly in 1993 and was demoted to the minor leagues that season. After spending all of 1994 in the minors, the Pirates released Wakefield in 1995, where he would go on to sign with the Red Sox and enjoy a long career in Boston. Despite the limited playing time in Pittsburgh, his unbelievable rookie season and career in general is nothing short of spectacular. Going from a first baseman to pitcher, making your debut right at the age of 26 in the middle of a playoff run, only to be the spark to push your team over the edge. Then provide 2 brilliant performances in the postseason against one of the game's all-time greats. Perhaps the most underrated rookie season a pitcher ever had, and one we may never see again.